Hey viewers, hi again. Welcome to video number 3 of our pre-Pack Expo video series. I'm here with Jorge Izquierdo from PMMI. Thanks again, Jorge, for doing all of these videos. Really appreciate your time and effort here. Now we're going to talk a little bit about robotics and automation. And it seems like every time you and I or myself and Tom Egan get together, we're talking automation and robotics, and this is going to be no different. The meat and poultry industry is finally rolling into robotics and automation in a much bigger way than they were over the last 15 to 20 years. What kind of update do you have on that? How's the transition to automation and robotics going from your perspective?
So you're right. This is something that we've seen for some time. It's not just starting. What's very different now, there's significant pressure on the industry because the availability of labor. That's putting a lot of pressure and I should say workforce challenges in general, not just labor, but at every level. So investment in, I would say mainly robotics has been growing very, very fast on this space. Mainly on areas where there's dangerous tasks, where the risk for accidents is higher, as it's in many cases, in the meat and poultry space. So certainly the combination and the advances of robotics, vision, is starting to move more and more on machine learning. That's certainly where the industry is going. That joined with now more and more robots available that can be just washed down. So in the past there were just a few or very little opportunities to have robots in contact with food. Mm-hmm. Now, with more robots with the washdown capabilities, it's getting more common, those applications. The combination again with not just vision, but inspection, X-ray, metal detection, all of those together. They create a kind of a synergy that developing the technologies that are right to advance the automation in processing operations. I should say certainly robotics is very important, but there are other technologies also that are helping. All the information, all the data, what we were talking before about transparency, about tracking, traceability. All those are significant, and they bring a lot to the processors and the consumers.
Okay, so what are some of the challenges and maybe things slowing down the transition for the meat and poultry industry? Obviously, poultry is a little further along with automation. Yeah. Pork is further along than beef, and beef is kind of lagging.
Yes.
And I've heard processors talk about the challenge being the size of the animal, the size of the equipment needed to handle that. Is that what you're seeing as well, or are there other challenges that are slowing down the transition overall?
Well, you're absolutely right. The size, it's part of the problem. The variability on the size itself, mm-hmm. it's a significant problem. Robots are getting better in terms of, in all those terms, in size, in the capacity to deal with significantly larger loads. Mm-hmm. That's happening. But one of the most important challenges that we are finding is within the workforce, having the right people to work with robots sometimes. So the challenge now is for OEMs to supply technology that is usable for operators that are not necessarily robotic engineers. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So the challenge is there, and many OEMs are coming up to the plate and delivering, technologies that are easier, more intuitive to operate, to implement in the floor. We're finding also more and more cobots, starting to break into the space. Mm-hmm. Traditionally, we've been talking about robots that are very fast and they can do many things. But when you talk about an environment where humans and robots need to interact, it's a different type of robot. Maybe you don't need to be as fast. When a robot is very fast, the risk of injury increases significantly if there's a person next to it. So that's where the space for robots starts to develop. It's applications where it's very easy to redeploy one cobot from one application to another one, help in filling that need for additional labor, additional workforce, and making it a very flexible way. So I think those are the good things, and the challenges, again, it's more about how to make this technology more accessible.
Well, and to kind of highlight the fact that robotics is here. It's not here yet, but it's here and it's growing. There's going to be a special pavilion at PAC Expo this year for robotics.
Absolutely, it's a very cool section. We call it the Robotics Zone.
Okay.
It's very practical demonstrations about what you can do with robots, how this interaction with the cobots is happening. So if your viewers are interested in robots, please make sure to stop by the Robotics Zone at PAC Expo Las Vegas.
Great. Jorge, thanks so much. I appreciate all the insight. It's always great. It's always advancing my viewership and their knowledge, and I appreciate you coming out to our studio at least once a year and doing these videos with me. Thanks so much, and I'll see you at PAC Expo for sure.
See you at PAC Expo, Andy. Thank you.